I was 162 pounds. I was living in a small little matchbox of a room and I couldn't afford an Uber, and that Uber was 15 bucks. So this is going to be a little bit of a different video. I feel like everybody has a story attached to them, a reason why they do certain things or their work. As this channel has been growing, as I've been getting more and more people involved in the community I'm trying to build, I figured it would be a good idea to show you guys or tell you guys where I come from, the different experiences I've had, and essentially the reason why I do what I do, and that is trying to get people in shape. So I think if I could help just one person through this video on how to deal with things or things that have helped me along the way to get to where I'm at right now, then I feel like I would have done my job. So without further ado, if you are new around here, my name is Ansh. I'm an NASM certified personal trainer, an online fitness coach, and a nutrition specialist. And my whole goal with this YouTube channel is to make getting in shape as simple, easily digestible, and as effective as I possibly can for as many people as I possibly can. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and let's get straight into the video and talk a little bit about myself. So let's fast track to my childhood. And essentially, I've always been a sporty kid. I've played a variety of sports. I grew up in India, so I played a lot of cricket when I was younger. I played a little bit of basketball, but my main sport was always football, or soccer as we call it over here in the States. So I grew up playing that. That's literally all I cared about, honestly, my whole childhood. And luckily, I got the opportunity to get a scholarship to play in a college out here as a student athlete in the States. And that's what I chose to do. And I came here during the summer or the fall of 2019, and obviously COVID happened after that, and I played my usual 3 or 4 years in college. And I was never a bad player, but I was never one of the best. I was never the super technically gifted players. I was never the person who everybody would look for when the game needed a calling. But the one thing that I always stood out in was my physical ability. I was a very skinny kid, but I could run a lot. I was always amongst the top 3 on our team's fitness test. And in general, whatever team I played for, people always looked up to me towards getting in better shape, or how do I do it, or how do I stay so consistent. I was so obsessed with being in the best shape I possibly could, playing the sport of football, because that's all I cared about. So I love the physical aspect of it, and that's where the whole fitness coach kind of thing came about. It was just my passion for fitness. So fast forward to senior year of college, going in towards the last year of me playing competitively. I knew that my career was coming to an end, and I knew I was never going to make it professional, even though I wanted to. But I knew I was never good enough, so I had to sort of switch my direction a little bit. And the funniest thing is, but that senior year, everything went off the rails. I came under the wrong company. Not to get too personal, but I was involved with a certain somebody that just wasn't good for me. I lost track of everything that people respected me for. I lost a lot of friends in the process, whose opinion I genuinely cared about, and I almost completely stopped working out. I ate pretty much whatever I wanted. I was eating pizzas every single day. I wasn't taking care of myself. I was sleeping probably 3 or 4 hours a night. I was drinking copious amounts of alcohol since it was my senior year and I wanted to let loose. I was doing an internship and an on-campus job. I wasn't even taking my studies seriously because I was involved in other things. A big part of me really missed playing football because my whole identity before that was just playing football. So not only was football taken away from me, respect, time, any sort of energy, and even my physical fitness, everything gone over the course of that whole senior year, realistically, which was supposed to be my most fun year, which in a way it was, but in many ways, looking back at it, I was just a dumbass. Not just that, but financially, I made a couple of really, really stupid decisions, really rash decisions, things that I didn't really think about before doing them, and it put a major, major dent on me psychologically and obviously financially. So then, after I graduated college, again, I was in that same sort of headspace, not really knowing what I wanted to do. I had no direction whatsoever, and obviously I was still involved with that certain somebody. So then I came to a point where I looked like shit, I felt like shit, I was in a shit job, making no money. And then I had to sort of look at myself in the mirror and say, is that really who I am? Is that somebody who I've been growing up my whole life? Is that somebody who my friends and my family expected me to be? Because honestly, they didn't. And the reason why they were so harsh on me and the reason why they were trying to talk to me so much was because they had higher expectations of me. And I had to look in the mirror and say, like, you know, like, I'm just not good enough right now. I'm literally shit in every single aspect. So once I hit that wall, once I hit rock bottom, and once there was literally nowhere further down I could go, I was living in a small little matchbox of a room in Long Island, New York. And if you guys don't know, Long Island, New York is probably one of the most expensive places you can live in this country. I had zero money, almost no friends around me. I had no respect. I was in a shit job. The only thing I had experience and passion for is physical fitness. So at the time, this was exactly about a year ago, I was 162 pounds. Literally skinny, had almost zero muscle on me. I could barely even run. I decided to completely swing in the opposite direction. I invested in a mentor to help me develop my business that you guys are seeing today. I put in every last penny into things that I knew were gonna help me in the future. You know, slowly, month by month, I got better. I started putting weight on. I started eating a lot more food. I started making a little bit more money. I started really working hard on my business and growing my reach in terms of getting more people to come to my page, see what I'm doing, see how I train, see how I can help people train. After reaching out to literally hundreds of people, I finally got 2 clients on the same day, and that gave me the most insane amount of belief in what I'm trying to do. And it gave me all the confidence in the world that I really needed. And it just so happened that the person I'm living with right now, Jake, who was my college roommate, somebody I really trusted, who's one of my closest friends, called me down to Florida because he was moving out of his old apartment and he needed a tenant to take his place. So I would live in his old place and he would come to a new one. But it all happened so quickly, and I was also in the process of doing my personal training certification because I wanted to train at a gym. This is what I wanted to do. I was started to gain momentum. I started to build my physique up. I put on something close to 25 pounds. Man, this was perfect. Everything was started to come together. Everything happened so quickly at once. And I started looking around for in-person personal training jobs down in Florida because I really needed to get out of the situation I was in New York. I needed to get out of that little matchbox room I was stuck in. I was doing pest control at the time because that was the only source of money I had or I could make. And don't get me wrong, guys, I'm so grateful for the jobs I had because they taught me so much and they got me by. So no complaints there. But as soon as I heard the opportunity to come down to Florida, I took it. I took every little bit of money I had in towards the move and I put it towards my rent and getting more furniture, whatever it is. And I came down here first week of November. I was warned that going into this season, so that was a holiday season, of course, it's the hardest period or the hardest set of months in fitness. And it's because everybody's on vacation, it's holiday season, nobody really wants to buy personal training. And obviously, if you guys don't know, in-person personal training jobs are mainly commission based. So you will only be paid based on the amount of hours you train, the amount of clients you have, and the amount of revenue you generate at gym. The first 2 months, I spent all my money in the move that I was barely making any money in the gym, and my online business, the stuff that I'm focusing on, that I'm doing right now, was at a standstill. I didn't have much time to dedicate towards that because all my time was going towards the gym. So the first 2 months were really rough in terms of finances. At least I had a gym to train at. I was surrounded by some decent people, and I was in a warmer, better location than I was in New York. So things were slightly on the up, but they were still very rough because I had I can't even tell you guys how broke I was. There was a point in time where I didn't have a car and I had to get to my 9 a.m. client in the gym and I couldn't afford an Uber, and that Uber was $15. I couldn't afford it, and I had to walk 1.5 miles to the nearest bus stop, take it, switch 3 times to get to my gym and walk another mile. And I would always be 10 minutes late because I was just so broke and it would take me so long to get from my place to the gym I was working at. But then by January, as the new year turned around, you know, people come in for new year, new me, all that type of shit. That's when things started to change for me. I started to build my momentum in the gym. I started to build a reputation. I started to build a really decent following, a really good client base. I knew I had it in me. I knew I had the talent, the information, and I knew I could sell as well. It was just about time. It was just a matter of time. And I started to make decent money. And that's when things started to stabilize. I managed to recover from a very, very bad financial situation. And I started to build my reputation. I started to get more clients. I started to transform people. That was the most important thing. I started to show people what I could do and get them the results they want. Come like this past May, about 2-3 months ago, I decided I was getting to a position where I really wanted to focus on building this business, building my online presence, working for myself full time. So I decided to quit my job at the gym. The point is, I went from a broke, stupid, rash, unfit, unconfident college kid, and over the course of a year, exactly a year, I've completely, I would hope to say, turned my reality around. And I'm not trying to say that to boast. I'm not trying to say that to show you guys what I've been able to do. But I want you guys to take that into consideration. And if you guys are going through a hard time, if you guys are feeling stuck, if you guys don't know what you want to do, take it from me because I have seen the absolute worst. I'm a foreign kid who had almost nothing coming out of college. I could have easily gone back to my parents in India, but I chose not to because I had to stay here to make money. And I wanted to make something of myself, so I took the risk. I was living at some of my closest friends' place on Long Island whose families were kind enough, and Brady, Mateo, if you guys are watching this, your families are the best, trust me. I was living at their place rent-free because they wouldn't allow me to pay rent, and I felt so terrible. But I couldn't afford anything, and I was going through personal issues as well with a certain somebody. I was barely working out, I was barely looking after myself, and I will be moving into an even better apartment soon with Jake. Working for myself, being able to do what I love doing, and that's transforming people and transforming their bodies, and in the process transforming my body. I went from this to this. The point I want you guys to take away from this video, no matter how unscripted, no matter how raw this video may be, it is possible. You need to have a thick skin in order to do what you want to do. And I'm not saying I'm anywhere near where I want to be, but I'm certainly in a much better position than I was. If you watch this whole video in its entirety and listen to me and my story, I really, really do appreciate you. I do come from humble beginnings. I've gone through a lot of shit that most people my age have not. And I'm really, really glad for the experiences I've had, even though they didn't feel great at the time. But I'm really glad I got to experience all that because I wouldn't be in the position I'm in right now if it weren't for those experiences.